camaraderie that allows us to work inclusively towards the advancement of international understanding, goodwill, and peace. Bless our speaker tonight, that his ideas and thoughts may spark collaborative interactions that can result in our club to help and support initiatives in the agricultural sector. Bless too our aunts and visitors who are joining us this evening, that their continued support to the members of Rotary, especially the Rotary Club of Makati, inspire and challenge us to become agents of good change by demonstrating humility, humanity, and integrity in ourselves and in the lives of others. We also pray for those who perished, suffered, and endured loss in the flooding and destruction of Typhoon Karina, that their families find resolve to rebuild their lives and have stronger resiliency towards future endeavors. Lastly, we ask you, Lord, to bless this gathering and the food that we will partake as we share our experiences and thoughts through a common bond of service above self. Amen.
Now, let's proceed with our national anthem.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Tayong magiliw, pero sa sinakalan, alam ng puso, sa higit mo'y buhay. Upang hinilang, kuya ka ng magiting, sa manlulubing, di ka pasisigil, sa nalagang tulong sa simulan, sa nalikaw magaw, ay nilagang tulang awit sa paglayang inamahal. Ang isang lang matawag mo'y tagumpay manatilihin, ang inuwi na parang niya kailan pang ay magdidilim. Lumalang araw ng walang ipagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang ligaya ng barkay magangin, at mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Let's now proceed to sing our Rotary hymn.
Rotary Club
Of Makati,
and together we stand proud. We are leaders with integrity, always ready to serve humanity, always living by the four-way test, building goodwill and peace along the way, giving hope to the world. We're the Rotary Club of Makati, prepared to aid our fellow men. As true Rotarians we live to lead. We believe in service above self, and this is why we succeed. We're the Rotary Club of Makati, and together we stand proud. We are leaders with integrity, always ready to serve humanity, always living by the four-way test, building goodwill and peace along the way, giving hope to the world. We're the Rotary Club of Makati, giving hope to the world. The Rotary Club of Makati.
Sentisi usted. Now we proceed to the four-way test. which unfortunately the RI failed to observe. First, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendship? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And the answer is a resounding yes. Okay, can I have the birthday list, please, por favor? Birthday list. Nandito. Okay. Okay, the birthday celebrants for July and August, we have Nick Aboitis, IPP Bing Matoto, Inigo Garcia, and Philip Sayam. And for the aunts, Pichalu and Beth Periquet. And the wedding anniversary of Wilson and Gina Tan. I'd like to request our future governor, Louis Asioche, to please sing. Louis, where are you? Future governor. Hala, missing na. Oh, Louis, Louis. Louis, ven aquí. Okay. Birthday song, por favor. It is your birthday, your day. Let's celebrate this important day. Still a happy birthday. And happy birthday. Winston. Thank you. Future Governor. Winston. Happy birthday, Winston. Okay, the cake. The cake At
of
the cake.
our director, Winston.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay. I'm not going to sing again. Eh?
Ay, nawala. Oh. Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Okay. Now we proceed to the acknowledgement of guests and visiting Rotarians. Our dignitary, a fighter for Rotary Philippines against RI for embarrassing and insulting us. PDG Tony Kila. And our beautiful aunts, of course, the First Lady, First Aunt Rachel. Tess Asioche. Rina Collantes. Cecil Dairit. Melanie Lopez. Camille Macashar. Melly Parungao. Angela Kila. Mita Sullivan. And Adet Uy. Now the guest, Mariby Lammers, daughter of PP Cesar Campos. Michi San Pascual of ULPI. Riette Dershart of Metro World Child Foundation, Inc. They are the guests of PP Eddie, Lorena Efervez, and PP Duremi Sarmiento, and Rita Sanjay Chagante, RC of Madras, India. Oh, see. Now we'd like to call on who will do the club functions announcement. Club functions, El Presidente. Club functions. And any announcement? Any announcement for club function? If none, we now proceed to classification talk. We'd like to call CB Revelia. Huh? Classification talk. CB Revelia. After that, CB.
Good evening. Good evening, my fellow Rotarians. I am Carlos Benedict Canglion Revilla IV. CB for short. And it's RIVI. It's Revilla, not Revilla. No relation to the senator. No offense. I am honored to have been inducted last March 5. I joined Rotary because I believe in its mission, service above self, and I want to contribute to the good that this club has done and continue to do for the community. Thank you to PP Fred Parungao and to IPP Bing Matoto for inviting me. Well, I was given an outline by Rhea what to say. No? Medyo mahaba kanina, parang sabi ko, talaga do I have to say all of this? So, yeah, kailangan daw. So here it goes. I will try to keep it short and simple. I hope I will be able to do that tonight. So she gave an outline. I should start with education, personal life, etc., etc. So let me start with education. I completed my Bachelor's of Science in Biology in 1992 with the hope of pursuing a medical career. However, due to unforeseen circumstances, I shifted my focus and pursued a career in law, earning my Juris Doctor degree in 1998. That change in direction led me to where I am today. University of San Jose Recoletos, Cebu. As a young professional from the province, I took a significant leap by starting my career in the Greater Metro Manila. Despite graduating from a school in the province, which was not widely known, I faced and overcome numerous challenges, including instances of discrimination when applying in Manila. One firm which I applied to, the partner was saying, "So, what do you do? What can you contribute? Do you plant camotes in Cebu?" I did not respond. I did not even dignify it. Nonetheless, I persisted. After applying of more than 100 companies, I was accepted in one. I secured a position at Corporate Council's Philippines Law Offices as a researcher, where I had the privilege to work with DG Reggie Nolido. Reggie at the time was not yet in the Rotary. So he was one of the associates there and became partner eventually. During my stint in CCP Law, I was actively involved in the corporate restructuring of various companies, including, among others, DNL Industries, now listed as Coracoat, Fatima University before it became a university, and the Century Properties Group, among others. From 2020 to 2004 to 2006, I joined outbound call center handling Orange Mobile and T-Mobile. However, due to the time schedule and lifestyle in call centers, it took a toll on my health, so I had to go on leave. In 2006, Ambassador Joey Antonio, which incidentally I know is a member of Makati, whom I had a pleasure to work with in my tenure in CCP Law, invited me to join Century Properties Group. I became part of the corporate and support services group of Century as he embarked in acquiring the ISM property, the Century City now, which was the International School Manila property, and it's what it's known now as Century City. I have been with Century Properties Group for 17 years and proud to have been part of the organization for the past 25 years, including my consultancy years of its 37 years of existence. Contributing to its growth and success, I have seen Century the way it was then and now, and what it has achieved. Currently, I serve as the Vice President for Corporate Affairs in charge of permits and licenses, Assistant Corporate Secretary, Head of the Titling Management Group, AMLAC Compliance Officer of all the subsidiaries, President of the Gramercy Residences Condominium Corporation, and the Century Spire Condominium Corporation, and the Century Aqua Lifestyle Corporation, which is handling Novotel in Aqua. One of my key and learning experiences at Century, I was involved in all the restructuring in the reorganization following the acquisition of East Asia Power Resources back in 2011, where we did a backdoor listing for Century. I work on the bond, the preferred shares, and the offerings and acquisitions of projects sites such as Azure, the one Azure North South and Azure in the North, as well as Aqua Residences. I also was part in the contract negotiation of Trump Tower, Missoni, and other branded projects of Century. I established and served as director of Century Properties London, Century Properties International Italy, and Century Properties GmbH in 2013. These entities were instrumental in marketing the 18,503 units sold since 2008 of Century. My experiences include dealing with various local governments in the Philippines and abroad. You could imagine how much challenge dealing with local governments in the Philippines for permits and licenses. In the course of real estate development and in setting up and doing businesses abroad, particularly in the UK, Italy, Germany, all offered a wealth of experiences and learning for me. In terms of experiences, I had to navigate bureaucracy. In the UK, it is known for its well-structured but sometimes complex regulatory environment. It was challenged and advised by experts based there. In Italy, bureaucracy was often seen as intricate, and numerous permits and approvals had to be secured, and it took a long while to do that. Again, patience was as a key to the achievements. In Germany, it has a reputation for efficiency, but I was asked to swear in to a notary wherein the document was read in English and then German while I was standing up raising my right hand. It was a 50-page document which I had to stay my hand raised. And they were so precise with time that when they said it was 9 o'clock, I arrived at 9:03 because I had a hard time parking. The lawyer said, "You're late." So cultural nuisances. Building relationships and trust was crucial in all the countries. I had to learn to do business in behalf of a Philippine company abroad, changing the landscape abroad. I had a lot of learnings in those, which I bring with me. Importance of local expertise. You cannot rely on the internet, nor can you rely on your just research. You have to consult legal luminaries, accountants, in order to do business properly in those countries. You had to build relationships, not only with the agencies, but also with the locals. Patience and persistence was very important. Dealing with bureaucracy often requires patience and persistence in dealing with foreign people. Compliance and documentation, they are very strict in all compliances of laws. Even until this date, I was a director of the German company in 2013. In my recent travel to Germany, when I entered immigration, I was asked, "Are you still involved in this company?" I resigned a long time ago, around 10 years ago. But when I arrived in the airport, that was the first question of the immigration officer. So you could imagine how strict they are that they kept records of those even 10 years ago. As far as personal life, they were asking me to say something about my personal life. I am married to Mignon. Yes, Mignon, as if Mignon. Eres Maravilla, who hails from Naga, Camarines Sur, who holds also a Juris Doctor degree from the same school and a diploma in Human Resource Management from College of St. Benilde. We have two sons, Ralph Lay Benedict, who is a medical doctor. Yes, he's a medical doctor, and recently passed his diplomate in internal medicine. He plans to pursue his fellow in cardiology next year. Our youngest, Jose Maria Juanes Benedict, is completing grade 12 at Paref Southridge School and will be pursuing college at the University of Navarra next year. He plans to study psychology or international relations and law. Guided by the long-standing family tradition of service and compassion, my wife and I founded CBMR Foundation in 2011. We partnered with a peace friend base in Rome and Opera San Giuseppe Arturiano Pro Parvolis Onus. It's a foundation in Rome to provide financial and educational support to students across Luzon, with a primary focus in Victoria, Laguna. Through our collaboration, donations are raised to sponsor children from grade 1 through high school. Since from the foundation's inception in 2011, we have assisted 941 students. This year, we are supporting currently 56 students from grade 1 to 11. All current enrollments are in one private school. We believe that every blessing we receive is a gift from God, which instills in us a moral duty to give back, no matter how small. To those less fortunate, we choose to fulfill this duty through education. As to terms of family background, I am a descendant of the Revilla clan and Nakangleon clan, both of the Visayas. My great-grandfather, Carlos Benedicto Revilla, was a sugar planter, was a pioneer figure in sugar industry in Ormoc City. He acquired from the Aboitiz family Ormoc Sugar Company together with my great-grandmother, Marta Mijares Montilla. In 1949, my great-grandfather, who I'm named after, Carlos as well, was appointed mayor of Rizal, now Pasay, but he had to resign due to his health. My maternal grandfather of my mother's side and became instrumental in the liberation of Leteños from the Japanese occupation. After the war, he earned a well-deserved respect and began his extensive career in politics. He was appointed military governor in General MacArthur, and as defense secretary, President Quirino, and a senator during the time of President Garcia. So I come from a political family, but I never pursued a political career. Hobbies. They were asking what my hobbies. Obviously, those who were here last week, I sang. I played the piano as well, as Patrick knows this. I am a lover of art. I collect antiques and I love to travel. Classification in Rotary is I was classified as real estate development. I believe that my experience in real estate development can help our organization in the following aspects: economic and community development, project management. I can help manage and oversee community development projects from initial planning to completion, ensuring they are sustainable and beneficial to the community. Property and facilities management. I bring with me my experience of managing the tallest building in Manila, which is the Gramercy Residences, having 1,438 units. It's 71 floors, and I've been managing the said building for the last 10 years. In fact, they were asking me, when will you step down? I said, I don't want to step down. They have to remove me. Kidding aside, I want to step down because it's retiring to manage 1,438 owners Social, corporate and social responsibility. Partnerships forge partnerships between Rotary and the local government. I am close to the local government because of my dealings with them in terms of permits and licenses, and have leverage in some of the connections. So hopefully I will be able to bring that to Rotary, and we'll be able to have partnerships with them and use it for our betterment. Sustainability practices. We can integrate more sustainable development practices into Rotary, which already we have, ensuring that they have long-term positive impact in the environment and society in general. In terms of education, I think mentoring programs is important. I've been doing mentoring as well in the Office for Real Estate Development and Property Management, training the young professionals and entrepreneurs, helping them develop skills in real estate and corporate affairs. Workshops and seminars, we can do that, and real estate development as well. So what is the connection between my professional values and Rotary core values? Being a baby Rotarian, as they call it, baby. But I'm no longer a baby. Sam Neil was asking me, so I'm just like your son, because my eldest son is 33-year old. Yes. I have a 33-year-old. So, baga ako nag-asawa. Being a baby Rotarian, in the last months, I have seen the Rotary strong connection, and I have seen the strong connection between my professional values and that of the Rotary core values. Service, for example. One, my task and dedication in improving communities through either education or real estate property management aligns with Rotary's commitment to service. Service above all. Both aim to enhance the well-being of individuals and communities, whether through professional endeavors or voluntary service. Fellowship. Building strong relationships and network in corporate affairs is crucial for success, not only in Rotary but as well as companies. Rotary values fellowship as means of fostering mutual support and collaboration, which complements my ability to connect and work with a diverse group. Diversity. Real estate and corporate sectors often involve work with a diverse range of people and perspective. Rotary emphasizes a diversity resonates with my experience in engaging with various stakeholders and appreciating different viewpoints of different people. Integrity. Uphold ethical standards and transparency in business dealings is fundamental in my field, especially dealing with government. Rotary's commitment to integrity aligns with my professional principles, ensuring that both my work and Rotary initiatives are conducted ethically and responsibly. Leadership. Leadership in property management and project management or corporate affairs involves guiding teams and making strategy decisions in Rotary. And in Rotary, we encourage leading development, and my experience can inspire, mentor others within the organization to take leadership roles, especially to the young and coming. In closing, I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to do my classification talk tonight. I look forward to collaborating with all of you, living our motto, service above self, under the guiding principles of the four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to the concerned? Will it be goodwill and better friendship? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you and good evening.
Okay. Salamat, CB. CB, kailan kang marikar kang leon? Marikar. Mo lagi. Dagaman kang leon sa ormo. Okay. Now we proceed for the next part of our program. President's time. President Keith Harrison.
Good evening, everybody. What I would like to ask you to do is to please, or maybe you're already doing it, carry on eating, carry on going to the place here and keeping your food going. Do not let it stop, and I will try and get through what I have to say in a few moments. Okay. So welcome particularly to Rotary of Makati members, our wives, aunts, and of course to our guests, and particularly to our overseas Rotarian we have at the back there. We have other visiting Rotarians, but thank you very much for coming this evening. To this, our first ever dinner meeting. Well, so they say anyway. Maybe there have been other dinner meetings, further ever dinner meetings of the Rotary Club of Makati. And I'd like to thank Director Winston for agreeing to be the speaker tonight. When the board discussed this change during our planning session, we identified several objectives for designating one of our weekly meetings, not 3 weekly, but 3 weeks in a month meeting as a dinner meeting. The first is this change accommodates members who are not always available at lunchtime, so offering them the option to come to an evening meeting. The second, it allows us to make use of our building. And in this regard, while we are here today and we're about 50 people, next month, I plan to have the meeting in the room to the side. And I'd like everybody to have a look at it before they leave. It's a much bigger room, but we have done some of the fitting out in terms of the spacing, but we want to put the blinds up to make sure that there is not too much of an echo when we move there. But we will move there next time. And we will have more, then we've got more room for trees and decorations, which my wife would like to ensure we have around us. Finally, and perhaps also critically importantly, it will mean that we will have a cost which is more manageable, because the meeting at the Peninsula costs us 3,000 pesos per head. It's not what we charge our members, I know, but that's what it's costing the club. So therefore, I would like to manage that cost. So this is much more reasonable, and we can have new and interesting food. So this evening, you had Japanese food. So along with cluster schemes, I hope that this will encourage members to participate in our meetings and also come along and join our other projects. On the service front, at the start of this new Rotary year, we've had a hagabat. A habagat. No, not a habagat, a habagat. Or okay, you can give me a better translation. Anyway, we had a downpour of rain, which has flooded lots of Manila and caused flooding. So allow me to share with you a quick video so you don't have to listen to me. Cue the video.
Monsoon rains, locally known as Bagat, were exacerbated by Super Typhoon Karina, bringing relentless rain over Luzon and nearby towns throughout the morning of Wednesday, 24 July. This deluge left nearly the entire region flooded, resulting in a 2-day halt of work and school activities and compelling 5 provinces to declare a state of calamity. The very next day, 25 July, the RC Makati Disaster Relief Team, led by President Keith Harrison and Director Boyer Teche, sprang into action. The team concentrated their efforts on the Taytay area, partnering with Angat Taytay. Their first stop was Sitio Ramona, where 64 families were sheltered in an evacuation center. Next, they visited Hapay Namanga, providing relief to 51 families. The third site was Barangay San Juan, serving 28 families. And finally, they reached Barangay Santa Ana, where 5 families remained as their homes were still inundated. Slippers from RC Makati, while Angay supplied food packs. Additionally, RC Makati handed over 100 sets of mats and blankets to Angat Taytay for distribution to 3 more sites the same day. On the second day of relief efforts, the RC Makati Disaster Relief Team hit the road again. This time, they ventured further out of Metro Manila, with Director Chris Ferrereza, chair of the Disaster Relief Committee, joining the distribution efforts. In coordination with our their first and second stops were at San Sebastian Chapel and the multipurpose center. They then traveled a few more kilometers to Paambong, Bulacan. After a challenging drive through 800 meters of road submerged under 3 feet of floodwater, the team provided relief to 32 families in the first barangay. They continued through a narrow, partially flooded, and rough concrete path to reach their fourth and final stop, Barangay Pinalagdaan, Paumbong, where they aided 90 families. All recipients received mats and blankets, as many were sleeping on cartons. The elderly, in particular, expressed deep gratitude for the club's efforts. In addition to mats and blankets, the team provided food packs to 39 families in dire need and to 11 senior citizens and PWDs. On 27 July, President Keith, Director Chris, and Rotarian CB Revilla traveled to San Mateo Rizal for another relief mission. This initiative was conducted in partnership with Ronaline Legata, a top 10 nominee for the Paeng Chinova Leadership Awards from Payatas. After brief messages from RC Makati, the team distributed 300 food packs to families in need. Each food pack contained rice, canned goods, and noodles. Additionally, senior citizens received mats and blankets. The club also supported the District 3830 efforts by donating 25,000 pesos for the relief missions conducted in Muntinlupa and Bulacan. The club would like to thank past President Roland and Sam Young for their 50,000 pesos each donation to the Disaster Relief Fund. Special thanks as well to Ann Queenie Mills for connecting us to Medtex Materials Technology Corporation, which donated some blankets and hospital items for distribution to affected families. During the 3-day relief mission, RC Makati reached 694 families and distributed approximately 250,000 pesos worth of relief goods. RC Makati is becoming known for being first responders, especially in disaster relief, making sure that they are ready to respond to the needy when they need it the most.
I'd like to thank the Relief Committee headed by VP Chris Ferrereza, who is here this evening. It's okay, you can leave the lights. There's another video in a minute. Okay. Never mind. And also Director Johnny Yang, who is the covering this area as well. But Johnny's not here this evening. Special thanks also to Director Boy, CB, for also participating in this distribution. Yeah, me, it's okay, but another service project last weekend, we went back to the Sisters of Mary to see the end of the Superior Heroes project and capacity building to equip students with helping their peers with mental health issues and the prevention of suicide. We sponsored the program this time at Girls Town, but we previously sponsored the program in Boys Town. Thank you to IPP Bing and PP Charlie and Chinit Rufino, who joined us for this visit. Sisters of Mary are one of our favorites, and particularly PP Eddie Yap and Charlie are the ones who really introduce us and keep us going down there. Connected to this, we're looking also, which is connected possibly to next month's event, which is why next time I will try and have this meeting in the evening in the other room. We will be showcasing 1,000 forests A Thousand Forests is a movie which we wish to show, and it's an environmental movie. It's a musical as well, and it involved kids, 5 different kids. We're going to have the speaker of the Dean of Los Baños in the Agriculture and Environmental Department, who conceptualized the movie. And he's going to go there, and we will have singers from the movie. So we'll have 2 kids performing that evening as well. So as I mentioned before, if you get the chance, just have a look and see the room, and that's where we'll be next time. But another project we're working on is the Fair Play for All Foundation through Ronalyn, who you saw there. And this is the girl who won one of our special awards at the Payang Hechanova Youth Leadership Award back in March this year. This event is connected to Marcus Smith. Now, anybody heard of Marcus Smith around here? Hold your hand up if you have. 1. So that's it. Let's say 2. Marcus Smith is half Filipino. Applaud. Very good. Okay. Very good. Okay, and half British. Very good. Marcus Smith plays for Harlequins as a professional rugby union player, and he also plays for England. And he's an extraordinarily talented individual, probably because of the Filipino blood in his side. But I would now like to share a little video concerning Marcus Smith. And he is going to come here and do a program with the kids in Payatas. Did I pronounce that correctly? Payatas, to teach them rugby and also play football with them, because before he played rugby, he actually also is quite a talented football player. So, movie please, maestro.
Yes, stadium, one rock star in the site, I'll live it up on the attack. Not bad. I just want to get caught up in this life. I'm crazy on that. We don't got. Only got one cheap better. Go live it up. Dash the back. Stadium bad. Baby, I'm bad. Stadium bad.
I just want to say that, saying that shit about my shoulder because they feel like an outcast. I still say that someone's gonna help me. Ain't nobody like that. I ain't gonna wait that soft back. Give me one shot and I'll never give it wrong back. Everybody's name for the shop. Everyone complain, they thought this. Face the pain, it's like candy cake today. Need to change it to a better frame and to a better change. Strategies to take we all live for pain. Can I God, stadium back? Born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad. I just wanna get caught up in this life. I'm crazy, I'm mad. No doubt. I want to better go live it up. Baby, I'm
Okay, so you get the idea. He's a superstar. He was playing for England against New Zealand the last month. And unfortunately, lost the advice. But he was the one performing as 100%. Very excited to tell you. We are going to invite you to attend the day in Pattaya. Sorry, this is nowhere near Pateros either. Payatas. On the 7th of August. Wednesday week. And it's from 8 o'clock in the morning until midday. And you will not only see the kids perform, he will give a training session. We're going to have the British ambassador there also to give a few words of encouragement. And then there will be a guided tour around the dump in Payatas, nowhere else other than that, and by Ronalyn. And Ronalyn, who's also the same age as him, she's 25 years old, she grew up on that dump. And she used to pick pieces from that dump. Okay, but now she has graduated from the University of Santo Tomas and cum laude, and is a sports teacher, and now she's working for that foundation and giving back to her community. So anybody who would like to come, please come along that morning. Other things just to mention, getting very late in the day, but if anybody wants to come along, it is Derek and his son, Rachel and myself, and I believe Kat and Carlo Rufino will be going to Malaysia, but it's from the 16th to the 18th of August if you want to come to Malaysia to attend the installation of KL Diraja. It's in Genting Highlands. The other big thing that I want to remind you of or tell you about, no more videos, no, is on August the 19th. August the 19th, we will have a short visitation here by Rotary International President-elect Mario Cesar Martins de Camargo. Correct pronunciation? Everybody's sure that there is correct pronunciation there. He will visit us on the 45th year since past RI President James Bomar gave the first polio vaccine, thus starting the Rotary International's polio eradication project in 1979 on this site to a child in this barangay. So if you want to come, it'll be quite a short visit and it'll be from 8 o'clock to maximum 10 o'clock on that day, the 19th of August. Thank you. Please enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you, President Keith. Now we'd like to call on our brother Philip to introduce our very own guest speaker from the man from the north. Philip.
Hey, good evening, everyone. So, my task is to introduce Winston Oy. Okay. Not a difficult task for me. I've known Winston over 40 years. We were classmates in Ateneo. You know, he was, let's put it this way, yeah. He was always a passionate person. And I think some of you already recognize that today, right? He's very passionate about almost everything that he does. I don't know, some of the things maybe I can tell you about him. I mean, I can tell you he came from Neo and he was the, so he basically runs Universal Leaf Philippines, which is the largest tobacco producer in the Philippines by far. And tell you about him, which some of you may not be aware, is you know, he's legally blind. Okay. And so you know, many times when we interact with him, sometimes he may not recognize you. I mean, that's there's nothing personal, but he just can't see you, right? Basically. And for many of us, his old friends, he recognizes us by our voice and I guess more or less the shape of our face, right? And all that. Shape of the body too, okay, basically. But he is legally blind. And so if you come across him and then he doesn't recognize you, there's nothing personal. He just can't see you. Anyway, okay. He has two kids and he's married to Adet. He was here earlier. Okay. Oh, there you go. There you Adet. Okay. Adet's over there, right side. And they have two children, very nice and gifted children. Alessi, the daughter, is a doctor, and Brian, his son, is a businessman on his own right, not in the tobacco business, but he's his own man. So anyway, you know, let me say this: we should listen to what Winston says. And one of the reasons why I am a big admirer of the man is because he's passionate, but he's also extremely effective as a business person. And especially in agriculture, this is such a big, important issue for the country. Some of you may know that I have a background in agriculture. I used to be involved with a company called Cargill, which is arguably the largest agricultural company in the world. Okay, and it was interesting because you know our billion-dollar business in the Philippines, we could not do what Winston's done, not by a long way. So that says a lot. Okay, so with that, I'd like to call Winston on the stage. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Philip. That's very generous of you. Good evening, everybody. It's okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm blind. I can't read without this. So, um, good evening, everybody. President Keith, thank you for your invitation. To everybody that's been here, that come here for the dinner, for the get together, and hopefully for me. Thank you very much for 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 gracing this evening. The topic I'm talking today is something very close to my heart. One's life's work cannot be anything less than the most important thing in your life. So, what we will be presenting to you today is a snippet of that life's work. I took over from my dad in 1994, 95, somewhere there. I was 33 years old. So young, so energetic, so enthusiastic, idealistic. But I saw a world where it was so much unfair, so much inequity. In my young mind, in my young innocent mind, I saw so much unfairness. And I couldn't do anything, especially back. The younger people don't understand. There's a tremendous generational thing that has gone through in our society. That I came from a generation wherein the children were better seen than heard, and we were not told to speak out. And probably that's part of the problem why we have not done enough change because of that culture. So, with that said, I took over a company that is half dead. We had $190,000 in equity, and that's it. And we were one of 30 plus companies struggling in a tobacco industry that's seen its glory days in the 1800s, not in the 1900s, not now. So I'm speaking to you from an industry that has seen its best days over 100 years ago. And again, the reason I speak this way is I want everybody to stop and think for a while what we can do rather than what we cannot do. So this journey started when I started doing some changes, and those changes may sound so trivial. One thing that was so wrong with our tobacco then is tobacco was getting fermented because the practice was to spray it with water. And that's the way everybody was doing. And it was full of middlemen. Everybody was stealing from the farmers, from grading, from the weight, from the computation. There was no calculator yet then in mass. And people were doing, I almost got killed joining one of the buyers in one of their and everybody was cheating everybody, the farmers. And so I said, and then in my younger, so that first innovation I did was basically don't spray the water, put the water on the side, weigh the tobacco, weigh the water, I'll pay the weight of the water. And instantly we got better tobacco than everybody else. As simple innovation as that. So innovation doesn't mean you have to be a Steve Jobs. Just a matter of trying something new to make it better and having the guts to face everybody's opposition. The opposition to change now is a lot easier. You go back to the 1880s and the 90s, or even to the 2000s, the opposition to change is almost a brick wall. So I went into WTO meeting somewhere in the late 90s, and lo and behold, I was 26 years old, here in the halls of Senate. I was supposed to be resource speaker, being one of the presidents of the companies there. And I just sat in the back and listened to a world wherein there are no more barriers on tariff. The dream world of the WTO. And I said to myself, oh my God. And I took 2 steps backwards from where I stand in our business, and I said, oh my God, we're dead. Literally, I said, I had so much fear rush to my body. And I said, what can we do? And then I said, no matter how I racked my brains, I couldn't sleep not sleep because I'm worried. I was sleep just thinking of ideas. The only solution is by making our farmers better. And probably that is what is unique in my experience from every other people in agriculture is nobody has put their life in how to make the farmers better. At the end of the day, you may build the best factory, the best mill, the best processing plant. That will create you 3%, 2% better yields. But you can create 200% inefficiency, 300% inefficiencies. And back then, all our tobacco were all low grade. So it was a slippery slope to, to really dying. And I said, I will dedicate my life to just working with my farmers. And back then, with so poor corporate governance, I was free to do what I want. But with the little money that we have, that's all we did. So I said I'm willing to risk 100% of 1 year's profit in finding a better way. And lo and behold, in the 20 years of tough rebuilding of the whole industry, we probably lost it twice, the whole year's profit. This is from extreme risk taking. But risk taking is also something that nobody knows how to do unless you've done it. And if the more you do it, the more you understand, and the more you get burned, like I have been, the more you understand that how to be more careful and be more circumspect on everything. So basically, I ask everybody, come on. So that back then, we were just working with about 15 middlemen and cowboys. We call them cowboys, buyers. And they were all my father's kumpare. And I told all of them, can we work with farmers? They all said no. And then I said no. I said, okay, we started our own 50 farmers. My God, it was so difficult. I realized, my God, our farmers, profile of our farmers is they're not even high school graduates. They're not even experienced. They don't have money. So how do you make these people successful? And for the first 2-3 years, we were abject failure. And then I told my team one day, everybody keeps on complaining, sir, yung mga farmers, ang bobobo, walang pera, walang alam, ayaw makinig. So that gave me a path of 20 years of experiencing how to make it work. So the first thing I did, that was second year in, I told everybody, it's a small team at that time. Sabi ko, guys, amongst us here and our farmers, who has more money? Tayo. Who has more education? Tayo. Who has more exposure? Tayo. And yet, these are the factors that I believe has empowered people in their lives. And yet we blame them. From this day on, nobody blames anybody who has less than us in our lives. We take the responsibility for them and we find solutions. We keep them accountable. Nothing is for free. Keep them accountable and find solutions. And that statement alone, that policy alone made us start to become functional. And maybe in all the agriculture guys around here, that statement needs to be done and stop finding excuses for ourselves. Because what is the excuse for ourselves? To see our business completely die and disappear. But anyway, that's just one part of it. And then the next part, we start growing. Oh my God. Kulang ang mga gamit. Kulang ang mga ano. First, inputs. So, fast forward, kasi I can talk for 3 hours on this, okay? But the inputs, we went and researched and found the best and the best priced inputs around the world and made our own formula. One of our failures in our agriculture is the lack of infrastructure. Irrigation is only for rice. You go to NIA, it's only for rice. There's nothing else. And the other is post-harvest facilities. Our rice and corn is losing 20-25% of the crop to non-existence or poor post-harvest facilities. We refuse to proceed forward without everybody having complete. And I'm saying this in hindsight. The first 10 years was pure pain. Pure pain. everybody just almost crying to each other. And the good thing that we had is we had the luxury that we were doing it ahead of everybody. And I was correct when I said the current structure of business imputes all the inefficiencies into our costings, that even our mistakes will be cheaper than the inefficiencies of the current system. So first things first, another first thing that has to be done is to restructure. Restructure the supply chain, the value chain of the whole industry. It's now the whole industry because we have about 85% of the whole industry. But back then, we were nothing and nobody wants to listen to us. But I said, let's forget our middleman. Let's recruit some of the better ones, and ultimately ended up with proper HR, proper values, proper skill sets. Our middlemen are all with the proper values and now aligned towards what we need and what our customer needs. And if you go to rice, corn, sugar, coconut, they're not aligned. There's so many players in the industry that wants to be dominate and be the biggest player there. When at the end of the day, the value that I was been born with and understand is that everybody must be rewarded according to the risk that they take and the amount of labor and work that they put. And if that structure does not, and that must be aligned towards what the market wants. And if that doesn't happen, that's what we have in our traditional agriculture for almost all. Every single player wants to dominate in the value chain. And what happens? The weakest and the poorest, which is the farmer, is the one that is left to hold the bag. Our farmers, in almost all of them, in the traditional sector, lives on a debt bondage everywhere in the whole country. And again, we did not do this overnight, and these lessons were not overnight. So what did we do after this? I was a techie guy. I was a geek guy. I was a gadgets guy. I wanted computers. Back in the late 90s, konti lang may computer. Sabi ko, I'm going to computerize the whole thing. My God. So I got one programmer. That's not enough. And then, wow, we have to buy baan or SAP. That was $1 million. Back then, we didn't have $1 million. Sabi ko, oh. Sabi ko, no. Philippines is full of IT guys. We build our own. We failed in the wrong platform because we couldn't afford we have a very small business. But we did not fail in reviewing the processes, which is basically the backbone of IT. And hence, what happened? All these lessons that we have done in the past 20 plus years is now embedded into a digital platform that encompasses all parts of agriculture, from HR to the farm side, to the logistics, to the factory, to the warehousing, to everything. We are completely digital in our company, all homemade software that is now being copied by our American partners for the rest of the world. Again, I have so many other stories on where the other parts that a simple thing, as we go in scale, logistics, every input must be in the farmer's hand before they need it. One year, we had low yields in one barangay and we reviewed ourselves. Oh my God, the inputs went in there 3 weeks late and their yields are down by 40%. So part of our software incorporates the logistics side. And hence, after all of that, then I have this video to show you of our company as we stood maybe 3-4 years ago. Jonathan, can you play the video of our introduction to our Universal Leaf? You guys don't mind. Lights out, please.
Universal Leaf Philippines is at the forefront of the tobacco industry transformation. We empower our farmers by giving 100% support that transforms the industry from traditional to globally competitive.
100%. Every farmer must have everything.
With only 10% of the national crop coming from directly contracted farmers, 90% came from middlemen who intentionally mix high and low grades during deliveries to exploit farmers and companies, incurring high rehandling costs just to segregate tobacco into correct grades. At the time, 70% of the national barley crop and 90% of the national FCV crop are all rejects. Leaves are overrun by molds due to high moisture. Delivered tobacco is filled with waste and scraps from rampant use of plastic and other non-tobacco related material during leaf handling. To counter the dominance of middlemen and raise industry standards, ULPI started the contract growing system of tobacco farming, selecting the best areas for tobacco production, introducing a standard package of technology, centralizing seedling production, and providing complete farmer support. ULPI introduced good agricultural practices, reduced moisture levels, eliminated non-tobacco related materials, and transitioned into sustainable tobacco production. With our straight laid open bale or slab procedure, delivered kilos are now sorted into exact grades and stock positions, reducing rehandling costs and maximizing leaf integrity. Our processes added value to tobacco products, creating a competitive tobacco industry by maximizing farmer profitability. ULPI developed crops with comparable yields to global tobacco sources and is now the biggest broadleaf producer in the world. From a domestic tobacco grower with 3% market share in the 90s, ULPI is now a major tobacco exporter, covering 80% of the Philippine market. From 134 farmers planting 70 hectares of tobacco in the late 90s, our systems expanded our reach to growing 16,000 hectares. Today, ULPI supports 145,000 farmers and workers, supported by 8,000 employees, using our systems for both Region 1 and 2. For us to manage agriculture, we have put all operations data into a standardized platform. Our systems measure all critical field processes to create forward-looking reports and empower our front-end users for them to make the best possible decisions, mitigate risks, and execute action plans in detail. ULPI developed the Universal Leaf Farm System, our enterprise solutions for data collection and field analytics. Each farm technician of ULPI is assigned with a tablet that collects essential data of farming activities and uses it as the primary basis for planning, monitoring, analyzing, and reporting. Our system is a weather-centric, web-based business analytics application with efficient monitoring tools and management reports. Our systems automatically monitor agronomic, financial, logistical, sustainability, and climate-driven aspects of growing operations. All these features are mobilized through the Farm Location and Management Execution Application, or FLAME, an interactive mobile software with real-time field data, holding a GIS map of farmers, crop profiles, farm activities, projected profitability, and sustainability compliance, enabling effective interventions by field personnel.
We have don't turn on the lights, but I have three more videos. But we have so many more topics that I just want to focus on a few things because I just wanted to show you how complete the whole system is. Bottom line there is the farmer has no chance to succeed unless they have complete everything. And that means you take care of them completely. And when you take care of them completely, they will trust in you as well. And that's part of the problem that most people in agriculture has done is that, oh, how can you trust the farmers? My God, you should see our bad debt is less than 2%. And our farmers' profitability is 130,000 pesos per hectare, average for all farmers, including good and bad farmers. But just to show you some of the technology which has helped us is a farmer must be weather-centric. And our agriculture is not weather centric. Most of the farmers, I will plant when the rain starts raining. Yeah, that's raining. That's how they plant. But my God, technology has moved so much from then to now that we should use technology. And I would like to show you our weather presentation of what we have done. Again, this weather is not just for forecasting or collecting data, it is spread to everybody in our organization and to every single farmer. Go, Jonathan, weather.
As an agriculture company, one of the keys to a successful crop is understanding how to manage the weather. In case of adverse weather conditions, our weather forecasting systems mitigate the risk of crop damage through our climate experts and our weather stations in core growing areas. ULPI deployed weather stations in various core areas of tobacco farms that provides medium to long-term forecasts. These devices transmit weather data into the ULFS in real time and update the weather information in the dashboard for prompt monitoring. The flood zoning system of the ULFS is integrated with the Geographical Information System, which is used to determine the coverage of potential flooding if the Magat Dam releases a large amount of water due to excessive rainfall. This feature is used as a basis for disseminating possible flood SMS alerts to all farmers within the area via the mobile assistant. The weather mitigation system has a unique functionality driven by data forecasts provided by our resident meteorologist, Mr. Robert Spera.
We have our own weatherman from Florida.
It is designed to automatically generate and disseminate SMS
Just looking at weather in our
consisting
area.
of weather warnings and predefined precautionary instructions specific to each farmer's current crop stage before and after an event.
So basically, this weather, we have an algorithm. So we've taken their transplant date. So you're supposed to do days on day 10, day 20, day 40, day 50. And then where their crops stand in, where the weather is, the algorithm creates a text message to every single farmer individually, individualized, and remind them what they should be doing next week and the week after. Maximizing what we know about the weather and their crop stand and their. And maybe one thing I'd like to just add on also is the weather, the communications.
Our communications support farmer needs and extend to our frontliners as an information hub to rapidly convey updates and important instructions. All field personnel collect farm data using tablets installed with ULPI system, used to pre-calculate the absolute requirement and schedules of activities to generate direct farmer reminders through our mobile assistance system, an SMS technology capable of sending an average of 3 million per crop season, designed to disseminate schedules of farm input deliveries, tobacco hauling, cash deposits, farmer meetings, and other important weather mitigation system to automatically formulate and send individualized SMS containing specific reminders and instructions according to the farmer's crop schedules based on days after transplanting in a weekly basis. The first 7 days of the 14-day forecast is used as a reference to determine the current weather condition in the area for a day-to-day decision in mitigation, and another week of forecast as outlook reference of the management to formulate plans in order to prevent possible risks ahead of time, guided scientifically by our resident meteorologist, Mr. Robert Spera, such as during wet conditions at transplanting stage, creating furrows, avoiding excessive irrigation, and replanting in case of seedling mortality are all advised prior to the event of adverse weather conditions. In dry conditions during in wet conditions during harvesting and curing stage, Predefined instructions contain activity schedule adjustments and checking the stability of barn structures to secure the crops from potential impact of weather effects. This system helps our farmers to create greater efficiencies, leading to productivity. Our mobile assistant hosts several communication features tailor-fit to specific farmer needs, including broadcasts of typhoon warnings, company benefits, and policy advisories. It also acts as a two-way communication system that collects and responds to farmer concerns and suggestions. These special features are now mobilized through the Farm Locations and Management Execution Application, or FLAME, an interactive mobile software providing quick access to field data and farm guidance for our farmers and field personnel. The FLAME application consists of technical guides for crop diseases, pest incidents, best farm practices, and enforced with red flag monitoring capability. FLAME includes a GIS map of planted areas, crop profiles, upcoming schedules, and ongoing farm activities to disseminate field trainings, policies, and procedures to further enhance and continuously sustain the knowledge and skills of our field technicians. FLAME has a built-in algorithm for curing, advising farmers and field technicians on proper barn sidings and cover management based on specific field conditions such as soil type and current weather patterns. This ensures accurate progress of leaf curing from start to finish. The sorting performance in FLAME indicates the contributive factors affecting leaf quality of each farmer and generates recommended solutions to further improve wrapper sorting ratios by empowering farmers with information right at their hands.
So we have a huge enterprise solution, a big farm, and we communicate with our farmers through our farmer leaders and our technicians, but we also send them texts right now. In September, we will be launching that Flames app, and they can download it from the App Store, or no, from the Google. And we already have a contract with Globe, and we're still working with PLDT, that all our farmers can download it and their data will be paid by us, and they can use it like Facebook for free. So they will have instant access to everything from their statement of account to what should be done and what's the weather to notifications, etc., etc. So we're very excited for that. And again, all the details that you saw about this planting, that you can change the crop and just put it to what the crop needs depending on what crop you're growing. And with that, we have created, our mini success here in the Philippines in agriculture. And when I say that, I used to be very shy to say this, but after I've been exposed with Gonegosyo with George and here and other, I'm not shy anymore to say that what we have is something special. And when I say that, I say that with a sense of humility, that it creates a sense of mission, that I cannot just do this for tobacco. I must share this with other crops in which we have transformed a traditional crop like tobacco, like corn, like sugar, like rice, like coconut, in which in Southeast Asia, Thailand has dominated all of it except tobacco. In the 90s, the Thai tobacco industry is so far ahead of us on all aspects. They're on their deathbed right now. And we're still continuing to grow. And we're continuing to grow individually here only as our company. Thank you. But again, I hope you don't say this. I'm not nagyayabang or whatever. But I need to say this because I want people to know that this is not bullshit or anything, but the most expensive tobacco, the most difficult crop to grow is the outer tobacco of a cigar tobacco. It is the most expensive. It is 10 times more expensive than your regular tobacco. And there is a pent-up demand in the States And this crop, broadleaf, is being grown in Connecticut, and forever they could not grow it. And so we started this 6 years ago. It's our fourth year of full commercial production. And its success is way beyond everybody, all our customers, including mine. But they've asked at least 15 other areas around the world, at least 4 or 5 states in the States, a lot of countries in Central America, a lot of countries in South America, a lot of countries in Africa to grow this crop, and nobody was able to. We were not successful, but we continued to become better every year. So I would like to present to you this new investment that we did, this new investment that we did just 5 years ago, and the factory is only actually 2.5 years old. And this is our broadleaf, in which we have created almost a $90 million business in 5 years' time. So this.
For the past 6 years, ULPI started its growing operations of broadleaf in 2017 through a small patch of seedlings planted in 1.2 hectares of land. The following year, 320 farmers joined the venture and tilled 466 hectares for the crop. As years go by, the success of business influenced the farming communities all over the province and nearby areas. That expanded to 4,795 hectares of growing sites and 5,731 farmers engaged in broadleaf growing. Today, we have a total of 22,714 personnel involved in the growing operations. 12,010 of which are farm laborers, 5,731 are farmers, 420 landowners, 118 farmer leaders, 2,840 personnel from the production team, and 1,595 personnel are from the management down to the frontline team. Alongside with this year's progress, ULPI is equipped with cutting-edge implements for the establishment of advanced agricultural practices. 54 units of Eagle Brother M12 drone, 21 units of Eagle Brother X25 drone, 60 units of Storm sprayer, 13 units of MIG Plus sprayer, 19 units of big tractors, 740 units of motorcycles, 73 units of multi-cabs, 16 units of service vehicles, 71 units of truck haulers, 41 units of Mavic Pro for GPS mapping. All of this revolutionized the tobacco farming industry in the Philippines.
This is not a corporate farm. These are all
Philippines
individual farmers.
Built the first modern and largest cigar wrapper sorting operations, the Giga 1 and Giga 2. With a streamlined design and fully integrated operations, the facilities stand on a combined 400,000 square feet and can house 8,100 metric tons of broadleaf in cold storage. Installed with solar panel roof that can generate up to 1 megawatt of energy.
So this, just to tell you how ridiculous this. This was all without without technology transfer in person, because all of this growth was done during COVID. Can you just imagine how much more difficult that was? This factory was started in 2021 and finished in 2022. 35,000 square meters, refrigerated and heated rooms on Isabela po. And all of that, and that's why this is probably the biggest success story in agriculture, and it can be done. It can only be done if we stop blaming people who have less than us in our lives and put the onus on ourselves and find solutions. And not just for them, but including for ourselves. And I'd just like to finish this because part of my advocacy is all of this, whatever good we've done is good. But my God, it would have been better if it's to a crop that is even more consequential. And that's why George knows this, that I've been advocating to try to find solutions for rice and corn. So I've asked one of the best farmers in the States to come and visit us. And that's going to be the next video. It's a short video lang. But just to make you understand, Doug Langley he does 17,000 acres of corn and soy meal managed by 15 people. The whole supply chain, all the way to silo. He has his own 2 silos and a huge operation, but 15 people. And he also, on top of that, grows 2 crops that I grow, exactly the same crop. The broadleaf wrapper that you saw last, and the burley that we grow a lot also in Isabela and in Pangasinan and in Ilocos. And I just want him and show you an eye-opener for all of us. So please, Jonathan.
Langley, I'm from Shelbyville, Kentucky, in the United States. And today's date is March the 8th, 2024. I have had the pleasure of visiting the agriculture area of the Philippines. And we have been comparing our tobacco yields, comparing our burley and wrapper. And we've been also comparing our corn yields. And in this, we found, I was posed with the question, is our land as suitable or is the same as the Kentucky land or as good as the Kentucky land? And I believe that due to your burley yields and to your wrapper yields, it is entirely the same. In our tobacco production, in our wrapper production, it's the same as your own.
What is your wrapper yield? What is your burley yield?
My burley yield is somewhere around 2,100 pounds per acre.
Okay, and
My wrapper yield is about 1,400, 1,500 pounds per
okay.
acre.
And
And the percentage of wrapper is probably 40% wrapper.
Can you pause? May ulpi ba dyan? Wala. Asa baba? Okay. This is bushel, pounds, acres, everything. We simplified it, okay? For wrapper, anyway, I know the numbers. For burley, the yield in Kentucky, and Kentucky burley was born in Kentucky. All our seeds come from Kentucky. And their yields is about 2,200 to 2,300 kilos per hectare. Our average for all 5,000 farmers that we have in burley is 2,850 kilos this year. Our wrapper yield, their wrapper yield in terms of is 1,700 kilos per hectare. Ours this year is 1,825. But more importantly, you want to grow that just for the wrapper. Ours is 40% from sorting, and theirs is 30% from farmer, which means it still has to go to a facility like we have, which means our customer has told us that they've told the Kentucky farmers they're not buying there anymore next year. So how can we have that success in tobacco, and yet on the same land, this is their corn yield?
30% binder, and the rest straight strip. And I guess the main takeaway I had with this was that when we're comparing land, we take our best tobacco land, or our best land that we have available to make it into tobacco production. The corn land is planted on all acres, good, bad, and indifferent.
what is your corn yield?
Corn yield, we average about 220 bushels per acre,
which is 13.2 tons
13.2 tons
per hectare. Yeah.
per hectare. Okay.
Yeah. Well, we would like to thank you for helping.
For that's average of good and bad land. 13.2 tons dried at 16% moisture. Tayo dito is 4,500. On the same land where we outgrow them, we are almost just a third of his yield in corn. What's the difference? Support and management. And thinking differently, and you're not going to change it until you change the structure, and then you find ways to make it better. So with that, that's my life's work, my advocacy, and my hope that we can do something better. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Winston Uy. Now we proceed to the Q&A. Anybody who has a question for Rodrigo? Okay, question answer from Senor Segura from Colombia.
We did well on time. We did well on time. Try to be. Hmm.
Okay, now it's working. Look, Winston, is impressive the story you told us about your company. But I have a question for you, because you were a maverick in the industry and you started a new way of doing things. But it was your vision, that you wanted to implement, understanding that it was with the farmers that you had to work on, but that was your idea. Many people have great ideas, but they find a lot of obstacles in the way. So my question is more focused on these times when you had that idea and how you convinced this multinational company that has been in business for so many years. How did you do it? Because everything starts from the leaders, and you had to change their mind, and the mindset of these people changed looking at your work. How was that transition?
Well, yeah. Well, I think one of the topics that I forgot to talk about, hello, is that, well, you gotta create results. At the end of the day, you can be a maverick, but if you don't create results, you're not gonna get anywhere. And the good thing is we started early enough that we had the luxury of making mistakes, and it was still part of the sum total of the cost of doing business for that industry. And I don't know if we still have that now. And part of what I wanted to say earlier that I forgot to say, and I'm sorry, I hope that answers your question. I just want to add this other point is one of the things that I felt so bad when I went to the GATT meeting for WTO is that tobacco industry never got the kind of tariffs protection that rice, corn, sugar, and coconut got. They got 35 and 45% tariff. We got 15% for 5 years. And after that, it was 0 and 5%. Currently, we are already on WTO rated 5% for WTO and 0 for AFTA. So we are not worried about import of tobacco. But why? I was so worried in the beginning because as I saw the industry dying, I was blaming our industry leaders for telling us to shut up and not say anything. But in hindsight, those same tariffs are the same tariffs that has burdened the ability to create change. And change is now has to come either, during our time is the same thing. Change came with a lot of pain coming in. And we as a country right now, and it's my call to arms, is the same tariff, 35-45% tariff, is the reason why we in the Philippines has the most expensive food in the whole of Southeast Asia by far. Simple math. Our food is 35 to 45% more expensive than everybody because of the tariff. The same tariff that is supposed to have protected us and given us lifeline, we've wasted 25, 27 years of doing nothing because it was somewhere between good and not so bad. And now, as our country has progressed from 45% agriculture-based labor to less than 15%, from 80 million to 115 million, from the CDE, which is comprises 85% of our population, having to spend 2/3 of their money on food, and mind you, low quality food. That is the problem of tariff. That's the same tariff. And I like to remind our leaders, George, we talked about this. The country doesn't depend 45% on labor, on agriculture anymore. And how unfair is it for 85% of 115 million Filipinos? And you know what makes me cry? And my call to arms, we have the shortest height in the world and one of the lowest IQ in the world. This is a product of low quality, expensive, unaffordable food. And if that does not wake us up, I don't know what else has to. But for me, that is my wake-up call. That is my call to arms. And that's the reason I'm speaking in front of you. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Well, it's more of echoing what Winston shared with us. No, I have had occasions to talk with Winston before, and I was really quite impressed on what he is able to achieve. Of course, not taking away anything, we all know that the tobacco industry per se is either holding on or because the World Health does not encourage too much of the tobacco consumption. And I'm glad that Winston is shifting to other crops, which is very important. And he just made mention of the cost of our food, which is one of the highest, partly because of tariff, partly because of the low produce. Our cost of logistic is one of the highest. And it's really something that the government should take note of what you have done. Now, that's one area that I'm sure you have talked to the new Secretary Kiko to Laurel. I tried to impress on him also that agriculture is very basic to our country. You mentioned about the stunting of and the malnutrition which is very critical. And that's, we are, a lot of times we are very altruistic and keep on throwing money away to that. And it's not helping. What is important is for government to really encourage the private sector to grow their business all over the world. It's really people who are gainfully employed that they can feed their family. Okay? But in the meantime, we need this short gap solution on helping out with the nutrition of our young. Okay? So I hope that that our Department of Agriculture will take notice of what you have done, and just to segue a bit, most of our hard-earned OFW revenue, which is about 38 billion, plus our BPO net of 10 billion, which is about 48 billion. Most of our hard-earned dollar, are going to importation. And a big chunk of that importation is really agriculture. So why don't we invest in our country in that sense, rather than buying all these things from other countries? So I commend Winston. I hope that the Department of Agriculture will set up, more Tesla-like schools, but focus on agriculture. And I'm sure you have a lot to teach them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, George.
Last question. Oh, sige. Second to the last. After Fred will be
Yes.
urban planner.
Director Winston, thank you very much for that very good presentation. The question I have is, considering the expanse of your operation in Cagayan, can you tell us what you're doing to ensure the security of your operations from a physical standpoint? Like, what do you do to make yourselves protected from attacks from lawless elements?
Well, I think, if you go back to the 70s, 80s, and the 90s, we are a lot better off now. My God, it was wild, wild west back then. I mean, I've seen people being shot in front of me before, and I've had experiences with that, and we will all dive and everything. But honestly, as far as security concerned, and we have a security guy, we do not see any security threats in our operation. And again, when you see our farms and you see those white things, those are curing barns constructed by all our farmers. And has already established as one to be trusted, and again, we went after farmers that were delinquent because of fraud, but we on farmers that lost on natural calamities, we forgive their debts. So nobody does that. Nobody does that. Again, the ability of us to do is not then when we had 50 farmers. It's now we have 25,000 farmers. There is scale. It's almost like a socialized crop insurance that we provide to ourselves and cost it out to our customers to our own cost. And again, imagine the yields that you see there are not the best farmers. They're the average yield for all our farmers, including farmers that did not do well. So, I mean, those are some of the highest yields in the world. And what I forgot to tell you also, and the video did, back in the 90s, and I will say in the 90s because that's when I took over at a very young, all the crops were practically low-grade tobacco. So how did we create the profitability for our farmers and for ourselves and for our shareholders? Increasing the yield is one, but increasing the quality is another one. So when you have a multiplier effect like that, then you can start, and then all the way to even some, like we write off 20 to 30 million pesos of bad debts every year, and the farmer knows that. So they will not go to a cycle of debt, which we see everywhere. And I refuse to live a life that way. I want people to be progressive around me and to progress working with us rather than one indebted by everybody else.
Thank you, Winston. Thanks for yeah. Thanks for Thanks for sharing. Very inspiring story. It's a segue comment. I saw your weather-centric management. Why don't you educate Public Works and MDA before the floods come in? 7 days.
This habagat, I knew this 3 days before it happened. And I texted all my governor friends from Region 1. They all acknowledged. And the rain is almost as much as Ondoy and Pepeng for the north, which is right after Ondoy. Pepeng devastated the north. And the damage is nowhere near as bad as that. And I think that's partly in parcel with a lot of what government has done. And also, hopefully, it's our to them because when I told them, they are clueless and they won't believe. And then, as Robert Speta, he says, Winston, there's going to be a river of water coming your way. It's exact words to me. 3 days before the Habagat hit. So next time you want any weather prediction, just let me know.
Oh, Winston, having experienced with tobacco business, I'm from La Union, and this was, of course, in the 60s and 70s. I know how poor the farmers were, and all of them are subsistence farmers, and I'm very impressed with the output now you're producing. No? So I think it'll be, well, continue teaching, but maybe more important than teaching is you are already in Isabela. There are 2 crops there, rice and corn. May I suggest, or I'm sure you're considering, get 10 hectares to start a project similar to what you did for corn, and another 10 or 20 hectares, and then prove it. And I think better than any lectures you can do. No?
When I speak of this in all the things that right now is from my education of failing those 10 hectares 3 times, 2 times. I've done it 3 times. I failed. And why? I thought our people have a higher form of understanding agriculture. I thought I had a higher understanding of, and yet when we approached growing corn, we were doing it exactly like the corn farmers. And that's why that's why I brought Doug over here. I brought him at my expense. Nobody spent for it. We brought him here, and I sent 4 people, and then I'm going to send another 4 people next week to go his farms. It is not just knowing. It goes back to planning process. The whole process has to change. How we created the high yields comes from every critical activity must be done excellently. I call it E squared, excellence in execution. And we didn't do that in corn, and we didn't do that in rice. And which means everything critical must be measured. And we will come in with what they're doing in the States, not how we're doing it here. So it's not just a matter of plant how many rows, how many more seeds here, etc. No, it's how many 1.5 inch exactly into the ground, and how many seeds, how many missing hills. Those are exactly what we did in the tobacco, and we didn't do it on corn. And we just wasted money. I just wasted millions in trying to find out what I just presented to you today.
One last question from Colorado.
Winston, since we're talking about deploying this technology to other crops, can you share with us whether you already have any initial thoughts on how you can deploy this, for example, to rice? Because you never asked for the help of government in doing what you did for tobacco,
Never.
right? Never.
In fact, that was my mantra. Do not ask the government.
Okay. So
and that for me is another good advice. Do not ask the government. We'll just do it. And,
all right.
And mind you, we didn't have money before. Okay, so don't say you can do it because you have money. We didn't have money before.
Okay, so share us, some of your initial thoughts on how you're gonna go about this.
So everybody here is basically have a good understanding on digitalization. Our biggest failure in agriculture, apart from everything I said, is the lack of standardization. My God, when I took over, we had 1 crop in Isabela. There were 50 forms of how to buy it. And each form may kalokohan. And you go to rice and corn, and maybe sugar is not because of the Kedan system, but every single one has as well. But standardization on those quality is just one part of it. Standardization must be through the whole process. And that's why digitalization is very important. When you digitalize, you now start to standardize. And the digitalization platform that we have created, it is an agriculture functioning platform that is not version 1. This is version 25. 25 years of blood, sweat, and tears, mistakes that have been corrected over version 2 and version 3. and successes that has been reinforced to make it even stronger and better. So I presented this to BBM last year. And he was, I was in Hong Kong. I did it online to him. And he says, there was 5 people presenting. All he talked was me. I don't know if you were there, George, but he says, I want to go there. Winston, I want to go there. But it was see the system that you have, because our president do believe in digitalization. So I think as far as being in line in our thoughts, it's there already. But understanding what we have, what we've gone through, and how at the end of the day, when we said it has to be financial centric, weather centric, logistics centric, communications, etc., all of those are just pockets in which when you change the crop, all you do is just change the details there that you want to capture. But the principles of managing the crop is still on the same standardized platform. And again, that's why I'm so adamant that we will never understand agriculture, and always I have an excuse that I'm mango and your coconut and your pineapple. You'll never understand each other because there's no standardized platform to understand it from. But once you create a standard, and I'm not saying what I have is perfect, but what I have is version 25 of something a lot more than what everybody has. And maybe use that as a foundation to create one in which we can harmonize and rationalize our whole agriculture.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, comrade. Then the wine. Vino para comrade. You want to give them the wine? Okay.
Okay, so I think we've just heard a talk from an industry expert and a member of our club, and it's truly inspiring, interesting, and I'm so upset that I was writing down lots of questions in the case that people might not ask them, but of course they've asked them, and now I better stop. But I think we've learned this evening that you've got to be a risk taker, and you've got to have a particular talent to take that risk. You've got to be able to have the stomach for it, and be happy to put online the 100% of your profits for a couple of years. You've got to be completely passionate about standardization, automation, digitization. You've got to be passionate with your farmers, your supply line, in your case. And one of the little phrases I learned today was, everyone in the value chain must be rewarded for the risk they take and the effort they put in. And I was thinking, my goodness, these farmers take a lot of risk. I know you take a huge amount of risk, but the farmers also take. Yeah, they take the work, the risk, and nobody else. And we really can learn from that. I have had the pleasure of visiting your factory a couple of times now, and it's a huge education. And I want everybody now just to stand and applaud hugely for a wonderful talk and inspirational talk this evening. We give you a small token of our thanks.
Yeah.
A bottle of red wine. Thank you very much. And with that, our meeting is nearly over, except.
Okay, we'll have an exchange of banners. Rotary Club of Makati and our Rotary Club Madras, India. Ven aquí, por favor. We'll have the exchange of banners from India. After that, we'll have the raffle. Okay. Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, there's a very important raffle ahead, but there's an even more important task that is now going to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you. Please eat, and we will listen to a bit more music while we find out who won the raffle.
Hello? Okay, picture. Uno, dos. Okay. Hey, Raffles, we have a winner. Oh, where's the kid? Oh, no, 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 no. Raffles. Okay, the winner is.
Okay, so Rita, please stop the music. And the winner is Nicky Roland. Nicky Roland. Roland, where are you? Okay, okay, what? Okay, rerun. Okay, here. Somebody tried to say it left, but complete is still here. I don't know, but whatever it is, it's called rap. Don't worry.